Okay, readers, welcome back. So, for today's read aloud, I chose this book, Last Stop on Market Street, words by Matt de la Peña, pictures by Christian Robinson, because we usually read this book in first grade. We didn't get the opportunity to do so this year because of the quarantine, but it is such a special book, not just because of the themes and the the literary skills that we can practice, but it's also special personally to me because I got the opportunity to listen to the author read this book at a conference that I attended at New York a couple of years ago. And hearing him talk about what inspired him to write this book, and also how he was looking forward to the publishing of this book so he can read it with his daughter, reminded me of some of the things that I miss the most about teaching, which is connecting with all of you and having those daily interactions and reading a book aloud, like physically in the classroom with you, because there are so many great conversations and insights and questions that happen when we read books that it just made me really, really want to read this book and not miss out on having those connections. So I'm hoping that you all know how much we love you and miss you, and just how proud we are of all the work that you're doing at home. But anyways, let's get into our read aloud, Last Stop on Market Street. So as we read this book, we are going to be building on the lessons that we've been working on before in terms of comprehensional skills, particularly looking at using inferences and also looking at the theme of a book. Now, just to remind ourselves, an inference is our ability to use the clues in the book in our schema, so what we already know about something, to make a prediction. So when we make a prediction, we're basically just guessing, but when we're using inferences, we're really grounding our predictions with evidence. So, but one of the other things that we're going to be looking at in this book touches on our last read aloud that we did with Nerdy Birdie, and this idea about empathy, which again is the ability to be able to understand how others might be feeling. Before we start reading, let's look at the cover of this book. Think, what do you see? Do you have any connections with the pictures on the cover? Can you quickly turn and talk and tell the person next to you? Okay, come back together. So, all that thinking that you just did is activating your background knowledge and is going to help you understand this book better. So, if you have had those experiences where you are on a bus and you can remember those experiences, those are part of your schema, those are part of your understanding. And that might have helped you make a prediction as to maybe what is going to happen in this book. You might have made the prediction where, you know what, I think the little boy and his grandma are going to get on a bus and go somewhere. But let's think, where could the little boy and his grandma go? Maybe the park, possibly school, maybe the library. There are lots of places where they could go. Well, as we read this book, I'm wondering where the characters are going and what might happen along the way. I'm thinking that as we travel with them, we're going to have to think about how the characters are feeling and the type of situations that they are in. So, do you remember what that's called? If you listen to our last read aloud with Nerdy Birdie, you might have an idea as to what that is when you are able to understand how other people are feeling. Do you remember what that's called? That's right, empathy. Okay, so are you ready? Let's start reading. Last Stop on Market Street. Words by Matt de la Peña. Pictures by Christian Robinson. Last stop on Market Street. Words by Matt de la Peña. Pictures by Christian Robinson. For Luna and her two grandmas, Ronnie and Grace. For Nana. CJ pushed through the church door, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but he never saw a straw. Give yourself a quick thumbs up, readers, if you see the straw in the picture. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do you need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire, and old Mr. Dennis who always has a trip for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the door swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. That kind of reminds me of my mom, readers, where she is always telling me to take the high road and be nice to everyone, even if they don't show you kindness, to be respectful and be kind and make sure that people feel some warmness radiating from you. So that kind of reminds me of what my mom always tells me to do. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "How come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere." "I feel sorry for those boys," she told him. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. So readers, why do you think CJ is feeling sorry for himself? Could you turn and talk and have a quick conversation with someone next to you as to why do you think CJ is feeling sorry for himself? Okay, take a few more seconds. Okay, let's come back together. Well, I'm thinking, readers, about what he just said, not just on this page, but the other page as well. How him and his Nana always have to go here. And here we don't really know just yet where that here is, but they have to do it all the time. And so I'm thinking that maybe CJ is perhaps feeling kind of like he's missing out on something. Like, I don't know about you, but maybe at one point or another, maybe you have wished that you could do something that your friends were doing. And if something was getting in the way of that, then maybe you were feeling either left out, maybe even jealous. If you've ever felt that way, if you understand that feeling that CJ is having right now, then you are empathizing with CJ. You are understanding how he's feeling. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. "How come that man can't see?" "Boy, what do you know about seeing?" Nana told him. "Some people watch the world with their ears." "That's a fact. Your noses, too, the man said, sniffing at the air. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered, I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. So readers, it seems to me like the moment that CJ started to hear that music coming from the guitar, he forgot all those feelings he was having when he was wishing that he had one of those MP3 players, one of those iPods possibly. Did you notice that too? How his feelings, how his mood sort of changed the moment that he started to hear some music? And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Have you ever done something like that, readers? Where someone is performing and they have sort of like a guitar case or a hat or a bucket where you are able to put in coins. A lot of the times people have that there when they're performing for the public. And if you feel like that person is doing really good work or is playing or doing a performance really well, then you might feel just like CJ. I know I've seen that happen. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. Oh, now we finally get to find out where it is that they are going. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded up stores. Doesn't seem like they're necessarily going to a safe place. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes, when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. I wonder what she means by that, readers. One thing I'm noticing, readers, about CJ's grandma is that she's someone who seems to always find the good in something, the beautiful in something, really. She seems to take a look at a situation, at a person, at a place, at everything, really, and appreciate it for what it is, and help CJ kind of do that same thing too, to really see the beauty in everything that's around him. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arching over their soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. Where did they go? Where are they going, readers? He thought his Nana might laugh, her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, Me too, CJ. Now come on. So even though the book, readers, never really tells us where they went, I'm using my own schema to kind of infer that CJ and his grandma went on the bus to travel to a soup kitchen. Now, a soup kitchen is a place where people who are out of luck, who are not doing their best right now in terms of money or in terms of resources are able to go and get a good meal without any judgment. And a soup kitchen only runs well when it has a lot of volunteers, people who are there out of the kindness of their own heart to help other people who are just needing some assistance. Do you have a schema for a soup kitchen like I do? I'm thinking you sort of do without even realizing it. Do you remember how every year Mrs. Correa helps run a canned food drive along with Mr. Berg and the student council? The purpose of the canned food drive is to help replenish food for shelters, for people who are homeless, kind of like at a soup kitchen where you help people out. So, readers, now I want us to do some thinking about what the theme of the story might be. What was the heart of the story? What was the message that the author was trying to get across in this book? Could you quickly turn and talk and tell the person next to you what do you think the message of the story was? Okay, let's come back together. So, I'm actually thinking there were a lot of lessons within this story, particularly lessons that we learned from CJ's grandmother. I think the author really wanted to get across in this book that understanding how other people are feeling is the beginning step, is the first step in showing kindness. And it almost seems like in this story, the author also wanted to teach us, to show us that being kind, seeing the beautiful, fills your heart. At least that's what I think the theme of the story is. Did you come up with another idea as to what the theme could be? Don't forget, readers, you are all capable of understanding how other people are feeling, and you are all so capable of being kind to one another and showing through random acts of kindness that you appreciate people, that you see people, that you can empathize with people. And you can get so many ideas for that just from this book. Like, think about all the acts of kindness that we saw in this book. Like when Mr. Dennis was giving coins to CJ, or when the man who was blind was complimenting Nana's perfume and she squeezed his hand. That's an act of kindness. When the guitar player was singing a song for everyone on the bus. When Nana was smiling to everyone and saying, "Have a good afternoon." Even when CJ gave a coin to the guitar player, and when Nana and CJ are working in the soup kitchen, they are being kind. So I'm thinking that after you're done reading this book with me, you can do something similar to where you can think, where you can reflect, where you can think, where you can reflect on how you can be kind. Okay, well, thank you for reading with me again today. I can't wait to read with you again tomorrow. Bye bye.